Okay, we'll call the Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, Williams County Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. Beth, will you call roll, please?
Barry,
Here.
Corey,
Here.
Bo,
Here.
and David is absent.
We have a quorum. We will continue. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with the consent agenda. What are the wishes of the board?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
motion passes. All right, we are at item D, public comments, and this is general public comments not related to anything that's on the agenda. Okay, seeing no one approach, we're moving on to item E, planning and zoning. Oh, perfect. Okay, come on up and state your name for the record.
Nick Haugen. Didn't know I was in general comments, I'm sorry. So really, I don't know exactly how to state what I'm here for, but we had a board meeting of Paradise Point, and I'm on that board. And like all districts and all areas, we're having a little trouble getting things all to, fit in the dollar range. The roads are crappy, and so I'm wondering in our development. Let me rephrase that. If there's a way to get something from the county, seeing how you're running our township, to help out with that in our subdivision, and I don't know how the rules go or whatever. They've pretty well not been any township help, and there's really not been any county involvement in the subdivision. Now, as a blessing, that road got paved into there, and it's awesome, And so I look over the tax rolls, and there's a pretty significant contribution from our area to that. And that's kind of long and short of the story.
Okay.
And I don't know what is required to bring that into the township or into the county, and so that's what I'm here for.
Correct me if I'm wrong, any of the other commissioners or Dennis, but a special assessment district is typically what happens when you want to redo roads. But is there any other?
Yeah, I think the first thing you'd have to do is that when
When I talked to you there.
yep,
Yeah.
the township would have to approve or not approve, but they would have to be brought into the township's road inventory.
Yeah, but there is
Be
no
the first-
township.
Well, right, but I mean, there is a township, we just happen to be the township board. but-
Okay.
So we would have to approve absorbing them roads into that particular township's inventory. Then you could use township funds for maintenance, because right now they're not a township road, so.
Gotcha.
Or at least that's my, is that kind of your best guess, Dennis?
It's a subdivision. Yep. The township accepts that. I probably should talk. Again, we probably need Karen to answer all that, but it's a subdivision, and then that, if the subdivision petitions the county to take over the subdivision, or not the county, but the township to take over them, then that would come at that time. But, again, that would be through Karen would be the best one to answer it more correctly. That's a roundabout way. Okay.
Is there a homeowners association out there, Nick?
No, not really.
Okay.
We passed some rules and did some stuff, but it's kind of, everybody does their own thing.
And there's quite a few now that live full-time out there, right?
10, maybe?
Okay. Who does the snow removal?
We do.
You just do it yourselves? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Our biggest deal is we went ahead and after you paved the roads there, then we went ahead and recycled and put a special assessment to our deals, and it was all
Oh.
great for about 2 years. And then the recycle goes to heck, and
Yeah,
so then we checked on chip sealing or having people come over and chip seal your roads.
right.
And that was way out of where we could be, on our own.
Right.
And so, like I said, I went through the tax stuff here the other day, and in that district, I think there's like roughly $75,000 in taxes paid out of that little 40-acre deal.
Into the township?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, of which you guys in our township probably only get, 20% of that, or 25% of that.
Okay.
But still, we're not, as it sits, getting
Anything?
for township or county help outside of that awesome road.
Okay.
So where do I need to go from here?
Well, I think the best bet would be to wait until we get Karen back and get you in touch to find the proper steps to take to make it so we're doing it the legal.
Yeah, did you say it's typically a petition for the township to take over the road, or just ask?
I've not, I'm assuming that would be it. I mean, well, they would approach the township, the township board, and then whether or not the township actually did take over them roads, then it would be a township issue. But how we get there, I guess, I don't know. I've never had this
Well,
asked
this is
before.
the same discussion that Round Prairie Township had with 2 subdivisions west of town. And a couple things that the township basically told them that in order for the township to consider taking the roads have to be built to county spec. So basically, they have to be maintained properly before our township would take them over. But they all chose to go back to their HOAs and do them on their own, because then it becomes the issues that Karen are going to bring up is how are the plots, the land, how is it platted? Because then there's going to be easements and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's going to be a process. But they all chose to have their HOAs continue to maintain them because of all that. So I would say when Karen gets back, that's going to be a big question for her.
And that's, what's the pros and cons, that's what I'm here for. But, in our case, you are the township board for us. So that's why I started here.
Yep.
So Karen notify me then or somebody, and we'll kind of go from there, or what's? Pardon me? I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
I'm behind you.
Okay.
So Nick and I had a conversation last week about something else that I'm doing a little research for him on. So I can certainly add this to my list, and like we say, Karen's out related to a medical issue, and so when she's back, we can get with Nick.
Perfect. Thank you, Helen.
Yep.
Thank you, Nick. Okay. Anyone else for general public comment? Seeing no one, we'll move on to item E, planning and zoning. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Haugen with County Planning. First item this morning is LU-0008-24, which is Michael Litt with Paddlefish Partners 2 LLLP. They're requesting a zone change to rural residential for 5 newly created lots. The subject property is currently within the agricultural zoning district and is located in the south half of the southeast, except deeded parts of Section 8, Township 155, Range 99, which is Springbrook Township. The township has recommended approval on this project. The applicant is also requesting a minor subdivision, which will create the 5 lots. The parent parcel is approximately 70 acres. The newly created lots will be about 8.43 acres, 8.95 acres, 10.51 acres, 10.45 acres, and 31.61 acres. The purpose of this minor subdivision is to create smaller ranchette-type properties close to Epping Springbrook Dam. Access to the lots will be taken off a private access road off 58th Street Northwest, which is also known as County Road 6. The minor subdivision is currently going through the review process with the necessary county departments, and its recordation will be contingent on the zone change. The lots have been assigned MS 24-0001, 0002, 0003, 0004, and 0005. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item at their May 16th meeting and recommended approval with a vote of 5-2.
Is the applicant present? I don't think Mike, okay. Come on up. If you have any comments for the board, I guess I shouldn't say. And then state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Joe Lefebvre, and I'm one of the paddlefish team, and Michael Litt could not be here today, but you're stuck with me today. I'm wanting to get this done for several reasons. We have 70 acres there that we've had for quite a while. And if you look at the map behind you, we have a 4-inch water line from rural water running, traversing in and out of the property exactly where the road is going to go to service these 4 building sites. The 5th one is actually a pad, and we've taken all the considerations of the 500-foot setbacks from the well. No one's even going to be close to that. And it's a quiet area, and it's been a problem area, actually. My neighbor informed me that his shop has been broken into 3 times. He's to the north east. Stuart Bacall, if I'm saying that properly. I had a meeting with him, and he couldn't be here today, but he said that they stole his grandson's 4-wheelers, and they went inside his building and shot it up with a 12-gauge, and he thought that more eyes on his property would be a good thing. People tend to go up there and hide up there and sleep in their vehicles, and we've had a lot of trash and issues to that nature. And we, quite frankly, like to do some smaller ranchettes in there to kind of have some eyes in the neighborhood. It's not good for farming, this property. We bought it from the Smith family. They were very nice to us, and the problem with it, if you look at where that Smith farm is, they can't see anything up there. It's down to the southeast, right by the creek, Stony Creek, and it's just kind of an area that I think even the sheriff's department would agree with me. You could probably use a few people in that area just to kind of keep an eye on things, if nothing else. But we're all set up. We have power on both ends. We got water. We've been a very good steward of the lands for Williams County. We've done 2 subdivisions, Wilder Ridge subdivision, and we've done Sweet Clover Lane. This is our last piece of property that we like to develop in this area, and hoping that we can just get this going and make that a better place to be right there.
Any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve following staff comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, the second item today is LU-0028-24, which is Dave Abel with Sundry Sand and Gravel on behalf of JWR Holdings LLC. They're requesting a conditional use permit for proposed sand and gravel pit in the southwest-southeast, northeast-southeast, southeast-southeast, and southeast-northeast of Section 8, Township 155, Range 96. This is in Farmvale Township, and they recommended approval for this project. The parent parcels are approximately 245 acres and are within the agricultural zoning district. The actual site will consist of approximately 85 acres. The gravel pit will be used to help aid Williams County in the County Road 19 project. The applicant states the topsoil from the site will be removed and stockpiled, and then the pit will be processed and utilized for use on this project. It is anticipated that this project will require about 135,000 tons of gravel, which is approximately 5,000 truckloads. Once the road project is completed, the pit will be reclaimed with the overburden and topsoil. The applicant plans to have the site leveled to the approximate original topography. Access to this project site is off County Road 19, which is also known as 109th Avenue Northwest. The gravel pit is considered temporary, as once the project is complete, the pit will be reclaimed. Because of the temporary nature of this project, approval from the Williams County Water Board will not be necessary. If this site were to change into a long-term site, they will need to go in front of the Water Board for full approval. On May 16th, the Planning and Zoning Commission did hear this item and recommended approval 7-0.
Is the applicant present? Okay. All right, what are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve and follow staff comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The third item I have for you is LU-0029-24. Ed Rentamaki, on behalf of Dolly Hickle, is requesting a zone change to rural residential for 2 newly created lots. The subject property is located in Government Lot 2, which is the northwest of the northeast, and Government Lot 3, which is northeast of the northwest of Section 4, Township 15697, which is Equality Township. The township is undecided on their recommendation, and when asked for additional information, reasons, or clarification, they had none. The applicant is working through the minor subdivision process to create 4 lots and have been assigned MS 24-0019, 0020, 0021, and 0022. The parent parcel is approximately 110.3 acres and is within the agricultural zoning district. The newly created lots will be approximately 15.05 acres, 15.19 acres, 40.01 acres, and 40.05 acres. The larger lots will remain in the agricultural zoning district, while the zone change will be for the 2 smaller lots. Access to the newly created lots will be through a private access off 66th Street Northwest. Purpose of the newly created lots is to create smaller lots to be sold for residential purposes, while keeping the larger lots to be utilized for continued farming operations. The Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item at their May 16th meeting as well and recommended approval with a vote of 7-0.
Okay, is the, Ed, do you have anything for us? Okay. Okay, any questions or what are the wishes of the board?
I make a motion to approve following planning and zoning recommendations.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes. Motion passes.
Okay, the final item this morning is LU-0033-24. John Isom and Todd Erickson, on behalf of JMAC Resources, is requesting a conditional use permit for a proposed sand and gravel pit within the agricultural zoning district. Subject property is approximately 159 acres and is located in the northeast of Section 16, Township 154, Range 96, and is owned by the state of North Dakota. No township comment was solicited, as this is in Hoffland Township, which is governed by Williams County. JMAC Resources is currently working through the North Dakota Department of Trust Lands leasing process to obtain an agreement for this section of land. Sand and gravel produced from this site will be utilized for fracking and other oil production purposes. At this time, the applicant is unsure of the traffic impact the site will have on the area, and once it is no longer being utilized, they plan to follow the state guidelines for reclamation, as this is a state school section. Access to the property is off of 52nd Street Northwest. On May 16th, the Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item and recommended to deny it with a vote of 7-0.
Is the applicant present? Come on up. Any comments for us?
7-0. That's all right. Any questions? My name's John Isom.
Oh, sorry. Yep. The recommended to decline or deny? Okay. Was there any reasoning given?
Not a whole lot, but there was a lot of opposition from general public that were here and spoke.
Gotcha. Any questions for the applicant?
I think also I will add some of it, it is right near where Red Mike Golf Course is, and as well as Little Egypt is right to the southwest as well, so that played a part, I believe. Yeah, and there are other people here, public, to comment as well, yes.
Okay. Do you want to add anything from the applicant's perspective?
I don't think so. Yeah, we're just here to hear the public comments and listen to their concerns. So that's main reason I'm here today.
Okay.
So if they want to talk, that's good. That I can hear their comments,
So do
get
you,
their feelings on it.
do you know how long, like, if this pit was temporary, like how long it would be in operation, or how many, the tonnage that you planned on taking out, or?
Yeah, I don't know that yet.
Okay. Thank you. We'll hear from the public then.
All right, thanks.
I'm Kenneth Schmidt from Ray, North Dakota, and my farmstead's a quarter mile to the west of where they're gonna mine this gravel. And not only that, the Little Egypt County Park is right below that. You can see that on the map. And Red Mike Golf Course to the west. Anyway, I think the county paved that road toward the golf course and to Little Egypt State Park for the specific use. And now if we get 500 gravel trucks or whatever. But I got a letter last week from Continental. They're gonna build 6-well pad 1,100 feet east of my house in section 16, right where that one pivot is in the corner. And I was wondering, does the county have any pull on where well site location? None, okay, okay. So
That's 100% the North Dakota Industrial Commission that makes that.
yeah, I know, I've protested to them, but you just will talk to fence post.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I object to the mining of sand and gravel. And I called the state before they issued that permit, and I said, don't you have enough money coming in that you have to mine right next to a state, county park? And of course, they didn't answer. So
Yeah.
well, what they did say, our duty is to make the most money for the state that we can from the trust lands. Okay. Don't have enough money evidently from that.
Well,
Anyway, thank you.
thank you.
My name is Tom Powers. I'm here on behalf of the Red Mike Links North Dakota Golf Course. And my first concern was nobody even showed up from the applicant at the planning and zoning. And one of my major concerns is where's the traffic going to flow to this? We fought, as Dennis knows, tooth and nail just to get that thing chip sealed. And it can handle car traffic and light agricultural traffic, but I don't think that road was going to stand up to truckloads of gravel. And if that's their access, I don't know. They didn't tell me where the access was or where it would go and how it would affect us. But that would not only affect the golf course, but the county is now putting significant money into Little Egypt Park for the community. And I'd hate to see that road torn up when we're just spending money at the park for recreation. And, it's a typical, in my mind, typical state reaction. They're going to tear up a piece of native prairie next to a game management area and take the money to Bismarck, and we know it's not going to come back here. On another matter, according to with Mr. Schmidt, I know that you don't have any control over where the state puts wells. Hopefully there's some control over roads. If Continental's going to drill, 6-well pad there, I hope they don't tear up that road. I hope there's something that the county can do to protect the road, the chip seal road, because it's not gonna handle a lot of traffic, oil field traffic either, as we found out in the past. Thank God for lay flat, or else that road wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other comments? Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
I guess, so what is the access? Where would the trucks be coming? Where are they going? What's the gravel for?
They're more curious about whether or not sand will work for fracking instead of bringing it in from Wisconsin, I'm assuming, because
Oh, yeah, yeah, it'll work.
if it's gonna be gravel, the rocks will be awful small.
Yeah, right. No,
So this is a sand mine.
Exactly, yeah.
And, I mean, you have to process the sand, screen it, so all that's gonna happen on site?
Right.
What road would you use to access?
It'd be that, can you blow that map up a little more with?
52nd?
52nd.
And then 109th from the north, is that your
Right.
plan?
Yep.
I would make a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to item F, report of department heads. Number one, NDSU office update.
First. Kelly Leo with the Williams County Extension. We're just giving you an update. We haven't been in for a few months, and as you all know, we're getting ready for fair, so that's our big planning this month. We've really just jumped into that full bore. We have about 650 statics indoor projects this year, which is a little bit down for us. We're usually 900 to 1,200. We do have 160 clover bud projects, though, on top of that, so that's quite a few added in that area. Livestock, we have about 62 beef, 34 hogs, 40 sheep, 25 goats. Decent-sized horse show again this year. We'll kick off the 21st with the horse show, and then our fair, of course, is June 24th through the 30th. So we still have about almost 300 youth involved and about 85 volunteers. So we're really growing on the volunteer side, which is really helping our office a lot. They're really taking that program and pushing things. I had a pretty busy spring, and I'll let them update their stuff too. I pretty much had trainings most of April and early May. Did make it back to the National 4-H Conference in Washington, D.C. That was a trip that was paid by the state for me, State 4-H, to chaperone some of our youth from North Dakota. So I was really fortunate to be a part of that. Very neat experience, and our youth get involved legislatively in D.C., and it was a really good experience for them. We did have one local youth from Williams County, Aubriana Stolick, attended that, and so just did a great job. We finished up our bread fairs. Plentywood and Westby asked for our help. They lost their agent in Montana there, so we went over and did those bread fairs in Trenton and St. Joe's, a couple right there at the end. I did do a nice embryology program in the schools this year, which reached about 100 youth this year. I did it in 5 different classrooms, so 2 classrooms in Ray, 2 in Tioga, and 1 here at St. Joe's, and it was really successful. The kids had a lot of fun. They learned some science and some agriculture, and I think it was a really great experience for them. I expect that program to do nothing but grow, so that's been a really good program. Just finished up Farm Safety Camp over in Minot. Hopefully it'll be back in Williston next year. I've already requested and said we need to have it back here. She did not get as good a turnout as we did here in Williston, so that makes me feel really good. I know that program was successful here, and I think we set the bar pretty high, and she didn't reach it there, so I'm pretty excited about that. That's a horrible thing to say, but I want it back here. I want to show them we can make it better here, so. And we did. We had great support from the community and our implement dealers here to make that a success, so. I'm finishing up dog obedience. That's been going since the beginning of April. I teach that down at the fairgrounds one night a week. And it's kind of overwhelming. We had about 30 kids this year, which is a lot to handle. So we had to do multiple sessions. And we also kicked off agility here. So we had a really great volunteer that stepped up, and she's teaching dog agility, which is something North Dakota 4-H does not have, but I'm pushing to get that in because we had it in Montana. So I really want that here. And go ahead.
Zach, what is that?
Dog agility. So it's kind of a competitive sport. AKC sponsors some of it, but then there's private groups that do it too. And the kid teaches their dog to go over obstacles and through obstacles, and it's competitive. A lot of dogs you see are like sporting dogs, or stock dogs are really good at it because they're fast and they're super trainable. This year we have 4 youth that I felt like their dogs were ready to go to that next level, and so they've been doing that program. And Tricia Weir from here locally is teaching that, and she was so excited, and the kids are having fun. They're going to do an exhibition at the fair because we don't have an actual set of standards or regulations, but I'm really excited for those 4 youth to show off what their dogs are doing. So yeah, and they went through my obedience program for at least 3 years to be able to do that. So that's been good. Archery, we finally are finishing up archery. One of our youth from here in Williams County is attending nationals in about 3 weeks for North Dakota. So we're pretty excited. Abigail Ferguson from Tioga is attending, and she's on that national team. So she's been winning all over the state this year, and so we're really proud of her. And that's kudos to her family as well as our 4-H archery program. So we have a few other youth that I think will be competitors within the next year. So pretty excited. Yep, Harper's going to come up next. She sees Big Sis, yep. Marketplace for Kids, Caitlin and I both presented at the college here just a few weeks ago. They had that makeup day, and lots of youth that we saw. I talked about seeds in North Dakota, so I presented that to a lot of the youth about some of our different crops that we grow here locally, and I had a lot of teachers come up afterwards and said, I had no idea that we were that diverse here, so it was kind of a good experience for me too. I did something kind of outside my purview this spring. I put on a grant writing class. I got trained in that for Train the Trainer program, and I was the first county to kick it off here through NDSU, and it's a Purdue Extension program. We had great participation from different nonprofits in the area, and we didn't focus on any one specific area, but I had some great speakers come in, facilitators, and I think that turned out really well. I already have a waiting list for our next session, and so I think that'll be something we continue to do. And Annie's project is another one that we'll continue to do. And then Design Your Succession Plan. Those 3 programs, I think, have really brought people in that are not people I typically serve. So I think that's a really good outreach for me, and it's a nice way to get more of the community involved in understanding what Extension can offer for different programs. And then just have a few things on our plate, but fair is our big push now, so it won't be a lot of programming for me this month, but I am helping out at the Montreal Williams annual meeting tonight. They asked me to come in and talk and provide some resources for agriculture, so. But it's been a busy spring, and got trained in a lot of things in April and May, and I'm ready to hit the ground running for the summer, so I'll let these gals visit.
Okay. Caitlin Jesperson, the Family Community Wellness Extension Agent. It's been a very busy spring. Like she said, we kind of rounded down the school year, so all those school nutrition classes. I did for Marketplace for Kids, I did the CTE, so basically teaching kids what their career cluster would be and what kind of interests them and how to go about discovering that. Now we're going into summer, so I have a lot of babysitting classes that I'll be doing over the summer because that is for kids 11 and up to teach them CPR and first aid, because a lot of kids end up watching their siblings or getting a job with babysitting, and so making sure that they're safe and know how to take care of emergencies if they're alone. So that's usually a very, very popular class in the area. I'm hoping to host some in the other towns, like going to Tioga, going to Grenora, going to Ray, and having them kind of post it through their school so that we can get more people trained. I've also had some other trainings this spring. I got trained in Real Colors, which is kind of like a personality test, kind of like a Myers-Briggs, but it's specifically more for like professional development and helping people get better communication throughout the offices or with people that you work with, because you understand their points of view better and their personalities and how to talk to them. I'm also getting almost finished training in QPR, which is question, persuade, refer. It's a suicide prevention. Then I'm also hoping to offer almost like a professional development. It's kind of like the mental health first aid, but this one's only 90-minute class. And then I also got trained this spring in Stop the Bleed, which is also offered through the first aid or the farm safety camp. But it's basically teaching people how to use a tourniquet safely, especially for all the rural communities, our rural farmers and ranchers, because they're using all the big equipment and are more apt to have to use it. It is grant funded right now. And so all the trainings I do give everyone a free tourniquet with the training so that everyone, all these farmers and ranchers would have a tourniquet possibly with them. Because, well, bleed out time is usually like 4 minutes and an ambulance takes an average of over 9 minutes to get. And then you think about out of town, and that's even worse. So going to try to push that a little bit to all the rural people. What else? Statewide, there's kind of been an emphasis on mental health overall, a lot of new programs coming out. Mental health for youth, especially. So I'm going to try to get into the classrooms with these new lessons. And some of them are like 5 lessons. So you could go in once a week for 5 weeks and teach kids on recognizing their stress and then what their stress toolboxes could be. What could they do to help eliminate some of the stress, and realizing that they're not alone and other people have the same stresses as them. One of the other ones that I've been trained in is powerful tools for caregivers, which Blanche is now trained in, which is good because you need to have 2 leaders to do a class. So I could only do one virtually before now because I had to have a co-facilitator across the state. But now that she's trained, we can do one together. And you can do 2 different types of classes. Chronic illnesses, so people who have dementia or Alzheimer's and caregivers for them. But then there's also one with children with special needs, so like parents who have children with autism or things like that, and we could have a class specific for them and their own mental health, basically, as a caregiver. What else? There's a new program that we are piloting here. We're one of the counties that was selected. It's called Aging Mastery Program. It's new from the National Council of Aging that has a whole bunch of classes for people who are 50 plus and how to make better decisions for their own health. So there's about 10 lessons that they can choose from with that, but that's coming out here soon. I think the only thing I have was there's also a new food security. They're trying to push with this whole kind of homesteading movement that's kind of going on. Like people want to make their own food and keep everything local, locally grown, locally produced, and using what we have. Since we have a lot of production of stuff here, we have a lot of pulse crops, trying to really incorporate that more into our own diets and people using it more instead of constantly shipping stuff in. But then also what comes with that is safe preservation of food and drying, canning, all that stuff, and making sure that what we do produce is getting used or stored safely so that people can keep using it and not get sick from it. So now that we're kind of in gardening season, in August we'll get to canning season, and so I'm hoping to have some canning and preservation classes so that people can correctly save their food for the winter time. I think that's kind of it. I've had Wellness Wednesday. Every Wednesday I have an article that comes out or a video online, and I think that's been going over well. I've heard from a lot of people. I'll just be at the grocery store and they'll say, "Oh, I read your article every Wednesday. I love it." So I'm going to keep going with that, hopefully gain more traction with that. That's all I have.
Hi, Blanche Wagner, parent educator. So some of the, I'm just going to quickly kind of go through some of the classes that I've offered. So I've done a lot of in-person, baby signs at the library, active parenting, 5 to 12. We actually had it presented in Spanish. So we did that at the library. A positive discipline intro class, just to kind of get it out there. And I did this with the school district. And it was a great turnout. We had like 25 families that attended, and the feedback from it was really good, and getting the word out. Another program was Gearing Up for Kindergarten, the parenting education side of it. That was 10 weeks. We had 60 parents that signed up, and we had a waiting list with 60 parents. And so throughout the 10 weeks, we had anywhere from 25 to 30 showed up at each session. So it was, there was a lot of great feedback from that. We've talked about different ways to maybe not make it 10 weeks altogether. So those are some things that I've been working with the school district to kind of figure out how we want to do it. Co-facilitated a Keep Connected class that was on Zoom, and that is geared more towards teenagers with parents, and that went over pretty well. We'll be offering that one again soon via Zoom. As they said, a lot of trainings this spring. Caitlin had said powerful tools for caregivers of children with special needs and behavioral needs. I'm actually scheduled to co-facilitate that this fall via Zoom. Baby Sensation is also known as infant massage in other states, and I've been trained in that, and so just getting the word out to it helps with a lot of things such as colic, digestion, sleep patterns, attachment, things like that. So those have been, there's been a lot of people interested in that. As Caitlin talked about, we both attended Real Colors training. And then April was a big month for Prevent Child Abuse Awareness in North Dakota. And so I attended some community events, sharing information like the Community Easter Egg Hunt, Kids Day Out community event. And then we had a speaker come in, Lindsay Burkhart, who's the director of North Dakota Child Sexual Abuse Prevention Task Force. And she did a presentation on prevention as possible, keeping children safe from sexual abuse. We had a pretty good turnout. We did it at the LB Church, and Go Wireline sponsored a barbecue dinner. And from the feedback, we had a lot of people from the community that were interested in getting more information and sharing it out, and having Lindsay come again, and maybe some different options of how to get that information out. It was very informative. And so people that attended had great things to say about it, just for how informative it was. And then right now, just like they talked about, I'm helping with the fair and wrapping up some budget and grant and reporting things for the state fiscal year. So that's kind of where we're at. Thank you.
That's a lot. Blanche, Caitlin, Kelly, nice job.
Thanks, lady. And just, and I'm sure you guys have seen, we're adding a 4-H coordinator position would be an agent for their office too. So we're excited. that position's open for sure until the 20th of this month, and we'll interview after that, so.
And excitingly enough, we already have one application and we still have till the 20th, which doesn't happen to us very often out here, so that's exciting. We actually have one candidate already, so. Caitlin did mention Stop the Bleed. We did offer that in Ray, Tioga, and Williston Research Center too. I helped facilitate a couple of those that she couldn't get to, so that was a good program, so.
Well, that's an important thing. At my brother's a medical doctor, and he said that he went to a training, and they said that the tourniquet is one of the most important tools that nobody has, especially on a farm, I would imagine. So,
Yep, so thank you.
thank you.
Long sleeve shirts, that's what they're for.
Jeez. Okay. All right, another great employee, Marcia. Go ahead.
So after, when we talked about doing name change for vector control, Marcia called me after the meeting and said, if we're fixing names of things, I have some challenges. So the Youth Assessment Center, as it's called today, is actually the Northwest Youth Assessment Center. There is no Williams County in it, and so Marcia has described that as she's trying to engage with businesses, contractors, even the folks that use the center, it is not intuitive to get Williams County correspondence, but the thing is called the Northwest Youth Assessment Center. And so as then we talked through options, we really brainstormed words that made sense. Marcia then went, kind of thought through it. Of course, we've kept Barry in the loop a little bit. And so I'll let Marcia unveil. The name we propose is?
So we decided to go with the Adolescent Care Center. So part of the assessment center name, we used to do assessment level of care. That hasn't been in the state since we switched to shelter care. And from the public perspective, it seems like we're doing mental health evaluations or assessments. And so we really need to get away from that term.
Fantastic. Good stuff. We need a motion to approve, I would.
So it would be the Williams County Adolescent Care Center.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through the process with the legal and finance people to get everything changed to make sure it's all on the up and up.
Perfect. Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
I would make a motion to approve the name change.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then just a general update, this month I've got shelter care recertification coming up, so I've got a contract to get over to Karen. Should be pretty standard, nothing really changing. They'll be on site June 18th to do our yearly inspection, and I don't anticipate any problems there. And then one more kind of big change that we're kind of looking into, Helen kind of gave me the push that day on name change too, is moving into a database system for our center. Right now, all of our records are still handwritten. So we need to make a change. I'll bring it back to you guys before we officially do anything, but just to kind of give you guys a range, we're looking about 21,000 for the first year and about 14,000 every year after that in expense to put this into place, but it's time to get away from paper records.
Amen. Fantastic. Thank you, Marcia.
Any other questions?
So is, all in all, everything's going smoothly then?
Going smoothly. We still have 2 open positions. We're interviewing as we get applicants and stuff, but we did hire one, so knock on wood.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank
All right. Thank you, Marcia. All right. County Administrator, you're up.
Good morning. I have
Good
a
morning.
couple of things that are last minute adds this week, or yesterday, I guess. So first, I'll just say for the good of the order, I guess, that Commissioner Kemp was appointed to the North Dakota Housing Initiative Advisory Committee representing Williams County. The point of this committee is to have, I guess, you can give us the update if this is wrong, but listening sessions among private and public stakeholders, looking to the challenges of, I think, constructing, creating housing across the state in the hopes that there would be some thoughts going into the legislative session, maybe how the state could help to fund something that would make a difference. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, with any luck. That's the intention.
Senator Beckedal from our region is also on the committee, but it looks like they're kind of the only two from the West. There are representatives from cities, banks, businesses. So, looks like it's temporary. I don't know that I'll add it to our portfolio list, but just so y'all know, we have somebody going to those meetings. Last meeting I had you approve a policy, and I'm going to ask you to rescind that policy. As we went through, I actually met with the sheriff and our legal team, and we started to put together a guide that staff would use to implement the new policy. And boy, as we talked through scenarios, we realized that this policy was not fully baked coming out of the oven. And so I'd ask you to rescind your motion from last meeting, and we'll continue to work on this. And when we feel like we have something that we can actually provide clear guidance on how to enforce and or know for sure what our vision is, I'll bring it back to you.
Okay, well,
Oh, expressive activities policy.
expressive activities. Do we have a motion to rescind the expressive activities motion from last meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Steve,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
We would request consideration to adopt July 5th as a holiday in 2024 this year. The 4th of July holiday is on a Thursday, and we have historically followed the pattern which we see now happening across the state, which is that counties and cities do provide that holiday to their staff when it falls on a Friday. It wasn't built into our normal calendar, but I'd ask your consideration on that.
Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve July 5th as a day off.
Okay, is there a second?
Are you gonna put the year on that, or are we making it forever?
I don't know.
Well,
What
from the
sounds good?
audience, I hear forever. You shouldn't plant
Yeah.
a seed.
I understand that. I just wanted to see if you wanted to add.
2024.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes, motion passes.
All right, on to the position report. Last minute add there as well. You see, we do have a desktop support technician position that actually came open soon after your last meeting. And so we've been advertising, but have not proceeded with any kind of interviews or hiring until we get permission from you. And then we do have a 911 telecommunicator position open as well.
Okay. Is there a motion to support the new hires?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote?
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, and then finally, we have two board positions that need to have appointments. We have two seats on the Joint Library Board. There is a North Dakota Century Code guideline that says someone can only serve 2 consecutive 3-year terms. And so seat 3, Leah Heine, had met that maximum. And so the board, you heard me say it before, the process is roughly 60 days before a seat opens, we advertise, we seek candidates, and then different boards have different preferences for how they might be able to gain more information about their candidates, because we're going to ask for their recommendation to come to this group. So the library has folks who are interested in serving on their board write a letter of interest. And then I think they do, if warranted, have a conversation with them at a meeting. And so these two recommendations came out of a slate of, must have been, I'm acting on my memory, 6 or 7 people maybe. So the recommendation coming from the library board was Tara Blanton for seat 3, and then Leah Winnagel to be reappointed to seat 4.
Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve those 2 board positions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Let me just add for the record, 6/10 is a date that is set forward in a written document. So June 10th is when these seats always start, 2024 through 6/9 of 27, term for both of these.
Okay, any additional discussion? Hearing none, Beth, roll call vote.
Corey,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
motion passes. Is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay, we have reached item H. Oh. What was that, Beth? Nothing?
You can be done, then I'll.
Okay. We have reached item H, adjournment. That's it, that's all. Yeah.